Good morning. There's something powerful about the moment your feet hit the floor in the morning. That single act, getting up, is not just physical, it's symbolic. It marks the beginning of a choice, the choice to face the day, the choice to keep going, the choice to move forward, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Let's talk about that choice. We live in a world that glorifies comfort, one that tells us we're doing fine as long as we're busy.
But being busy is not the same as being committed. Commitment is not about how many hours you work, how many meetings you take, or how many emails you send. It's about what you choose to show up for consistently, intentionally, and with heart. There's a fundamental truth we often overlook. Success doesn't begin with a plan. It begins with a promise. A promise you make to yourself that no matter how hard it gets, no matter how long it takes, no matter how many times you fall, you will get up and get it done. But here's the secret most people miss. Commitment is not a feeling. It's not something you wait to feel before you act. It's something you decide. Commitment is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it,
Especially when no one's watching, especially when you could make an excuse, but you choose not to. Think about it. When we look at people we admire, those who have built something meaningful, created impact, changed lives, it's easy to think they're different. We imagine they woke up every day feeling motivated, inspired, unstoppable, but they didn't. What made them different was not talent or luck or perfect circumstances. It was that they showed up anyway. They got up, they took the step, and they did it again and again. They were committed. The truth is, your life changes the moment your commitment becomes bigger than your excuses. It changes when you decide that your purpose is more important than your pride, that your vision is more important than your fear, that your why is louder than your doubt. Commitment is not a grand announcement. It's the quiet discipline of showing up every single day, not just when you feel like it, not just when it's convenient, every single day. You don't need a perfect plan to begin. You don't need certainty to take the first step. What you need is a reason and a decision, a reason that pulls you out of bed when the alarm goes off, a reason that fuels your resilience when the road gets rough, a reason that keeps you grounded when success tries to distract you, and a decision that no matter what happens, you'll keep going. That's the difference between those who wish and those who win, between those who dream and those who do. But don't confuse commitment with sacrifice. Commitment isn't about giving everything up. It's about giving your best to what matters most. It's about focus. It's about alignment. It's about doing fewer things better and doing them with heart. Because when you commit, you align your actions with your purpose. And that alignment, that integrity between who you say you are and what you actually do is what builds trust, inspires others, and creates momentum. And here's the beautiful irony. The more you commit, the more free you become. Free from doubt, because you know where you're going. Free from comparison, because you know what matters to you. Free from distraction, because you've already made the choice. So if you're waiting for motivation to get started, stop waiting. You don't need motivation, you need commitment. Motivation is a spark. Commitment is a fire. Sparks burn out, fire sustains, and if you've fallen off track, that's okay. You're human. Getting off track doesn't mean you've failed. It means you're alive. What matters is whether you get back up, whether you take the next step, whether you remember the promise you made to yourself, to your team, to the people counting on you. The world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more committed people, people who show up even when they're tired, people who push through even when it's tough, people who are willing to sweat, struggle, and stretch, because they believe in what they're building. You were not put here to play small. You were not put here to merely survive the day. You were put here to lead, to build, to rise, to serve, to make something better because you were part of it. So I'll ask you, what are you committed to? What are you willing to fight for, not just when it's fun, but when it's frustrating? What's the vision that's worth every early morning, every late night, every step forward when it would be easier to quit? Find it, own it, and then make the decision. Get up and get it done, not because it's easy, not because it's glamorous, but because it's who you are. Because when you commit to something bigger than yourself,
you unlock something greater within yourself.
So don't wait for the perfect moment, create it. Don't hope for the right conditions, become the one who thrives regardless of them. Don't just be interested, be committed, get up, get it done, and keep going. Because the world needs what you're building, and it starts with the choice you make today. Commitment is not a feeling, it's a decision. It's easy to believe we need to feel inspired or motivated before we take action, but that belief is a trap. If we wait for motivation, we might wait forever. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. It depends on mood, energy, and circumstances. But commitment is different. Commitment is steady. It doesn't depend on how you feel in the moment. It comes from a deeper place. It's a choice you make long before the moment of resistance shows up. When you make a commitment, you're setting an internal standard. You're saying to yourself, "This is what I do, no matter what." It becomes a personal contract, a promise not based on convenience, but on conviction. That means showing up when it's hard, not just when it's easy. It means getting up when the alarm goes off, not because you feel like it, but because you said you would. It means putting in the work on the days when your energy is low, your motivation is gone, and your confidence is shaky. That's where growth happens. Not in the highlight reels, but in the unglamorous grind of staying true to your word. Most people give up not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they expect to feel like it all the time. The ones who succeed, they act even when they don't feel like it. They understand that commitment is not an emotion. It's a decision reinforced by action. The power of this decision lies in its simplicity. Once you decide, you remove the daily negotiation. There's no need to ask yourself, "Do I feel like it today?" The answer doesn't matter. You've already chosen. That mental clarity frees up energy. Instead of battling internal resistance, you focus on execution. Instead of hesitating, you move forward. And in that consistent movement, you gain confidence. You begin to trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, everything changes. Deciding to commit is not about being perfect. It's about being relentless. You will have off days. You'll fall short sometimes. That's part of the process, but commitment means you get back up. You recommit. You take the next step, no matter how small. That's what separates those who achieve from those who just aspire. The difference isn't luck, it's the willingness to do the work when the feeling is gone. So don't wait for the right mood, the perfect timing, or the burst of motivation. Make the decision. Decide who you want to be and what you're willing to do to become that person. Then get up and act like it. Every day, especially when it's hard, that's commitment. And that's where transformation begins. Success doesn't come from one big, bold move, it comes from consistency. The people who build meaningful lives, successful careers, strong teams, or lasting change aren't the ones who act occasionally with bursts of energy. They're the ones who commit to showing up, day after day, with intention. They understand that small, consistent actions, repeated over time, create extraordinary results. And in that consistency, they develop something far more powerful than talent or luck: integrity. Consistency builds trust. Not just with others, but with yourself. When you repeatedly follow through on what you say you'll do, you begin to believe in yourself. That internal trust is foundational. It's what gives you confidence to stretch, to lead, and to take risks. People often look outward for confidence, but true confidence is built internally. By keeping your word to yourself. Every time you follow through, you strengthen your identity. You start seeing yourself as someone who follows through. And that identity becomes fuel for future action. But consistency isn't just about frequency. It's about alignment. It's about making sure your daily actions reflect your core values and goals. Too often, people are busy without being aligned. They do a lot, but not what matters most. When your actions align with your values, that's when your work becomes meaningful. That's when you stop chasing validation and start creating impact, because you're not just doing tasks, you're building something with purpose. Consistency also simplifies decision making. When you're clear on what you're committed to and you build daily habits around it, you no longer need to spend energy debating what to do next. You already know. Your routines guide you, your structure supports you. That discipline doesn't restrict you, it frees you.
It gives you more mental clarity, more focus, and more room to be creative, because you're not constantly reacting to chaos. And here's the truth: consistency is more impressive than intensity. Anyone can be intense for a moment. Anyone can push hard for a few days. But intensity fades. What creates lasting change is steady progress. People don't remember the one great performance. They remember the person who kept showing up, day after day, month after month. That's what earns respect. That's what builds credibility. That's what turns ambition into achievement.
In a world full of noise and distraction, consistency stands out. It says, I'm serious, I'm reliable, I'm here for the long haul. Whether it's in your career, your health, your relationships, or your leadership, your consistency becomes your credibility. It becomes your reputation, so don't underestimate the power of showing up, of doing the small things well, of honoring your commitments when no one's watching, because those seemingly ordinary moments are what shape extraordinary results. Every step counts, every action matters, and when those actions are aligned and repeated, they compound. That's how momentum is built. That's how trust is earned. That's how legacies are made. Consistency isn't glamorous, but it's transformational. When your why is bigger than your excuses, everything changes. It's easy to come up with reasons not to do something. Too tired, too busy, too uncertain. Excuses are convenient, and they often sound convincing. But the truth is, they only have power when your reason for acting isn't strong enough. When your purpose is clear and compelling, it becomes louder than your fears, louder than your distractions, and louder than your doubts. People who achieve meaningful results aren't necessarily the most talented, most resourced, or most connected. They are the most anchored. They know why they're doing what they're doing, and that why fuels their perseverance. It keeps them moving forward when things get tough. It gives them the grit to keep going when everyone else is looking for an off-ramp. Purpose is what turns struggle into strength. When you have a reason that matters deeply to you, something bigger than yourself, you begin to see obstacles differently. They stop being dead ends and become challenges to overcome. Your why is your internal compass. It keeps you aligned. It reminds you what you're building, who you're doing it for, and why it matters. When you lose sight of that, even small setbacks feel overwhelming. But when your purpose is front and center, even big setbacks feel manageable. That's the power of clarity. Without a clear why, it's easy to burn out, to drift, or to settle. With it, you have the fuel to push through the resistance, no matter how heavy it feels. Excuses thrive in the absence of purpose. When you don't have something pulling you forward, it's easy to be pushed around by your circumstances. But when your why is bigger than your comfort, you become unstoppable. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop letting mood or fear make your decisions. You begin to act from conviction, not convenience. That shift from excuses to purpose is what separates intention from impact. Purpose gives pain a context. It doesn't eliminate the difficulty, but it gives it meaning. Think about any athlete, artist, or entrepreneur who has accomplished something remarkable. None of them got there without struggle. What carried them through was a deep belief in what they were doing. Their why kept them grounded when the road got rough, and that same principle applies to all of us. If you're constantly giving up, it's not because you're weak, it's because your reason isn't strong enough yet. So dig deeper, ask yourself, why does this matter to me? Who will benefit if I follow through? What will it cost me if I don't? When you connect emotionally to the outcome, you raise the stakes, and when the stakes are high, excuses lose their power. Purpose doesn't eliminate fear or failure, but it makes both worth facing. So, if you want to rise above excuses, don't just push harder. Look inward. Find the reason that makes the struggle worth it. Let your why lead the way. When it's strong enough, nothing can stop you.